Paying their final respects, the unique way a military cemetery is trying to promote itself.
Even if you could get a precise measurement of your average tenement length, I would not, based on that information, I would not make very important decision on my life.
The genetic promise and why they may lead to more questions than answers. And welcome to the family, the new southern white rhino born at the San Diego Zoo, and why this baby girl is extra special to her mom. KPBS Evening Edition starts right now. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Ebony Monet. Members of the House of Representatives were briefed today on the probe into connections between Russia and the Trump campaign. Darrell Issa from Vista says he thinks Special Prosecutor, former FBI Director Robert Muller, will get to the bottom of the issue.
Well, I don't think anyone's happy that the Russians have had the gall to attempt to influence our election and that they continue to be a smaller version of the evil empire I grew up with. I do believe that there was great consensus that going after the Russians for interfering with our election is a nonpartisan or bipartisan issue, one that both sides need to get resolved before the next election, not just as to what they did, but how to prevent it.
Muller was appointed Wednesday by the Justice Department. The move was applauded by both Democrats and Republicans. Fire crews mopped up a brush fire in North County today near the 15. The fire forced the closure of one lane of traffic in the southbound lanes near Deer Springs Road in Escondido. Firefighters are investigating what started the fire. Fire crews started planning ahead for the next fire disaster at a summit today.
We certainly have the potential to have a very active summer this year.
Emergency responders are talking about preparing for this, the San Diego fire season. They also looked at how technology will play a role in emergency preparedness.
And it tells us how severe Santa Ana wind events are, so we can see when really intense and very major events are coming, and then we can take the preparedness steps that we need to take to try to stay safe.
They also discussed how to work with local businesses and community leaders in the aftermath of emergencies. San Diego's top politician is endorsing a plan to redevelop the Qualcomm Stadium site. The news comes days after San Diego State University pulled out of talks to partner on some of that development. KPBS reporter Eric Anderson has details.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
San Diego Mayor Kevin Faulconer is officially backing the push to drastically change the face of Mission Valley. FS Investors wants to build a river park, nearly 5,000 homes, commercial space, and a multi-sport stadium where Qualcomm now sits. Faulconer says that meets city needs for parkland, transit-friendly development, tax revenue, and an entertainment district.
It usually takes decades to make meaningful progress on just one of those civic needs. But this year, we have a chance to move forward with all of them.
Faulconer says city residents will get a chance to vote on the project in November, and he wants voters to have the final say. He sees this as a rare opportunity.
What happens with this property is bigger than any one entity, and it's bigger than any one constituency. This is about the future of our entire city.
San Diego State University created a stir this week, announcing it's ending nearly 2 years of negotiations to partner with FS Investors. The school called the mayor's endorsement disappointing, saying it wasn't in the best interest of the university. Developer Mike Stone says the project will move forward.
We've had some challenging discussions over the past month. It's been frustrating at times, especially with respect to San Diego State. But our true north in this remains the delivery of a compelling combination of economic tax benefits to the city, a long sought after river park, and creating sports and entertainment related assets for the city we all call home.
The university, meanwhile, only has a lease to play football at Qualcomm Stadium through 2018.
They say, well, you need a bigger stadium.
SDSU Athletic Director John David Wicker says the fate of the football team isn't the school's primary concern, In an interview this week, Wicker says the school has a longer-term vision.
If we lose access as a whole to the Qualcomm site, I think one, it concerns me because, at that point, higher education is, not a priority in the city of San Diego, and that's obviously not what we think. We think, having a place for San Diego State University there is something that will benefit the city in perpetuity.
Earlier this week, a city official lamented that the SDSU decision to halt negotiations with the La Jolla Investment Group might mean the school is forfeiting its chance to have a voice in the process. The school says the SoccerCity proposal is not in the best interest of the city. Eric Anderson, KPBS News.
Democratic leaders in California say they will move forward with the retirement program for private sector workers in spite of a new hurdle. President Trump signed a resolution yesterday. It reverses an Obama-era rule that made it easier for state governments to offer IRAs to workers whose employers don't provide them. The move may open California and a handful of other states up to legal challenges. A national cemetery in Miramar is having an open house this weekend. They want veterans to understand the cemetery has long since taken over for Fort Rosecrans, which has reached capacity. KPBS military reporter Steve Walsh has the story.
Miramar doesn't have the picturesque oceanfront view of Fort Rosecrans or the 100-year history. What it does have is a lot of space. Just 15 miles north of downtown San Diego.
Rosecrans actually reached capacity in the 1960s. It opened for a few exceptions, but essentially closed to new burials in 2014. Miramar opened in 2010. Cemetery Director Rex Kern said people still ask to be buried on Point Loma. That just isn't possible, so they're promoting Miramar.
Just in general, I want them to come and see the property, because we're thinking probably a lot of people have not even attempted to come here because they're just waiting for Fort Rosecrans to miraculously open back up.
It's staging its first open house for veterans Saturday. Burials at national cemeteries are free for most veterans, including this location at the northern edge of Marine Corps Air Station Miramar.
The open house is going to be open to the general public from 10 a.m. to 3 o'clock. Reporting from Miramar National Cemetery, Steve Walsh, KPBS News.
Students are getting good grades, but their standardized test scores tell a different story. What's going on at Gompers? Prosecutor Summer Stephan has been endorsed by the outgoing DA, Bonnie DeMonis, but her involvement in a botched murder case has some people wondering why. And cities across the county are dividing into council districts, but not because they want to. It's all on the roundtable tonight at 8:30.
You can now buy all kinds of genetic tests through the mail. Some of them promise to reveal your true biological age by measuring the tips of your chromosomes. By getting tested himself, KPBS science reporter David Wagner found out that some of these tests can lead to more questions than answers.
Your telomere length tells you your age in telo years.
Maybe you've seen this commercial during an NFL game or at the start of a YouTube video.
How old I am means less to me than how well I'm aging. My age is just 29 in telo years.
That great news came from a simple mail-order test that cost less than $100.
So you can know how well you're aging.
Telo years and other tests, like one from a company called Titan Novo, give you a measurement of your telomeres, the protective caps at the ends of your chromosomes. Telomeres wear down over time, meaning the older you get, the shorter they are. But what can you actually learn about yourself from these tests? To find out, I did a little experiment. All right, so we have two telomere testing kits here, one from Telo Years, one from Titan Novo. This one asks me for a drop of blood. This one asks me to swab my cheek with a Q-tip. So I'm going to take these tests today. We'll mail them off. And then in a few weeks, these tests promise to tell me about the state of my telomeres and what I can do to keep them healthy. So my results are back, and we're going to open them up and see what they say about my telomeres. First up, my results from Telo Years. They said my telomeres are longer than 98% of men my age, making me 20 in Telo Years. I'm actually 27, so for a moment it felt like I'd won the telomere lottery. But then I opened my Titan Novo results. They said my telomeres are shorter than 80% of men my age, making me 37. Okay, so we have two companies here, both claiming to tell me my true biological age based on the length of my telomeres, but the results that I got back from them completely disagree. So what do I make of all this?
Our data is published. Our validation is open. We've got extensive database, and I'm confident of our results. I can't speak to other laboratories.
We can't comment too much on how another company would have come to their results. I would send them information on our specific methodology, what the lab variability is, and all of that to show that we are using a repeatable, reliable method.
Even after following up with both companies, I still felt pretty confused. Should I be worried about my telomeres, or should I keep doing whatever it is I'm doing to keep them nice and long?
So those are all cells that we use to study telomeres.
I reached out to a local telomere scientist to find out what might be going on.
One potential explanation is the two sources, right? So you have saliva and blood as sources. So it might be that you have very different telomere length in these two populations. It's a possibility. It would be unlikely, in my opinion, but it's a possibility.
Scripps Research Institute scientist Eros Lazzarini-Denki says he would need a closer look at the methods behind each test to understand why they disagree so much. But he says the bigger point is that average telomere length is just not a great metric for how well you're aging. He says telomere length in different cells throughout our bodies can vary a lot, and we should only really worry about extremely short ones, which may not show up in tests like this. Plus, he says the science on telomeres and aging is still pretty complicated.
So the bottom line for me, even if you could get a precise measurement of your average telomere length, I would not, based on that information, I would not make very important decision on my life.
The FDA has not approved the TeloYears or Titan Novo test, and both companies warn against making serious medical decisions based on their results.
My Science in the Public Domain class.
Laura Rivard teaches biology at the University of San Diego. She has an interest in direct-to-consumer tests, and she says, I'm not the only person to get conflicting results. I asked her how these companies could better communicate the limitations of their tests.
They wouldn't like my advice because if they were communicating the real limitations of how actionable their information is, nobody would buy the test.
From the company founded by the winner of the Nobel Prize in Medicine.
TeloYears commercials note that their company was founded by a Nobel Prize winner. Elizabeth Blackburn, who won a Nobel in 2009, did co-found the company behind TeloYears. Now president of the Salk Institute in La Jolla, she recently sat down with KPBS to discuss telomeres and personal health. Should people get their telomeres tested through these kinds of kits?
I don't think they do any harm, but I don't think they're actually particularly informative.
So, take it from a Nobel-winning telomere scientist. If you want to keep your telomeres healthy, you can eat better, you can cut down on stress in your daily life. As for spending $100 on a telomere test, maybe put that money toward a gym membership instead. David Wagner, KPBS News.
It's going to be a hot one this weekend, the first major hot spell of the year, as temperatures are expected to soar up to 15 degrees above average. Regina Miller has tonight's forecast.
Well, feeling summer-like here for the weekend. We are going to have a very warm weekend, and looking at our satellite and radar over the last 6 hours, nothing going on. Tonight we have clear skies, a temperature of 61 degrees in the metro areas, and in Oceanside, 50 degrees, very shallow, if any, marine layer, so we're not going to have the clouds around. Into Borrego Springs, 61 for your overnight low, 46 in Mount Laguna, and for your Saturday, we have warm conditions. High pressure in place, and so we have an offshore flow. We're not going to see much of the sea breeze. So our temperature in Oceanside, 81 degrees. Sunshine for your Saturday. In Ramona, 90 degrees with plenty of sunshine. Borrego Springs tops out at 98 degrees. Mount Laguna is at 71 for your daytime high. So along the coast, 81 degrees, plenty of sunshine. We've got cool, clear overnights, 54 degrees for your Sunday. Plenty of sunshine. The sea breeze returns, and that brings the temperature down just a bit, 78 degrees. We have some patchy fog in the morning, and on Monday, but then we have sunshine for the afternoon, 77 degrees, 75 on Tuesday. Inland locations, sunny and very warm for your Saturday, 91 degrees. Sunday, we have sunshine, very warm, 89 degrees, and then for Monday, mostly sunny and warm, 86 and 84 degrees. It continuously gets a little bit cooler with partly sunny skies for the midweek and 80 degrees. In the mountain locations, we're at 71 degrees, sunny and beautiful on Saturday. Sunday, sunshine, gorgeous, 75 degrees, mostly sunny for your Monday and 75. And then on Tuesday, we have partly sunny skies. It's going to be a nice one. Partly sunny on Wednesday at 74 degrees. In the desert locations on Saturday, 98. And boy, look at these temperatures soaring. Sunny and hot. 102 on Sunday. Monday, 104. Mostly sunny skies. Partly sunny and hot on Tuesday, 104 degrees. I'm Regina Miller, KPBS News.
A nutty idea from a class of fourth graders in Merced. They're looking to make pistachios, walnuts, and pecans California's official state nuts. Modesto Nuts minor league mascots Elle, Wally, and Shelly cheered them on at the Capitol as the students made their case.
Hi, my name is Alexander Oldham, and there are many reasons I think the almond should be the California state nut.
One of the reasons is because our state produces the most almonds grown in the world.
The bill passed the Assembly. It moves on to the state Senate. A San Diego State University development saw its anchor tenant open its doors today. KPBS editor Tom Fudge says the opening of Trader Joe's in the South Campus Plaza was a sign of the growing trend of campus retail.
I'm told that Lay's are a standard part of the opening of any Trader Joe's store, and there were plenty of these and plenty of people wearing them when this place opened at 8 o'clock in the morning.
Trader Joe's is known for its healthy and sophisticated food, and this 12,000 square foot market did attract many fans, like Brooke Burnett, who's been shopping at other Trader Joe's.
I do, and my grandma sends me gift cards.
The appeal of this place is clearly location, location, location.
That's a good one. So yeah, but now I probably will because I can just walk here and then walk home.
A lot of fresh options because a lot of the places around here aren't as fresh and you have to go drive very far to get it, so I'm super excited.
The location is called South Campus Plaza, which has already opened some high-rise student residence halls. Its retail segment will include Trader Joe's and a handful of restaurants.
Frankly, the point is to build a kind of town-gown campus community that doesn't exist anymore, or has never existed within walking distance.
Bob Schultz has been San Diego State's point man on this development. Speaking back when it was still under construction, he said landing Trader Joe's as a tenant will be key to the development's success.
We think that particular tenant is going to be a traffic draw that will support all the rest of the retail.
So far, Trader Joe's is the only tenant that's moved into South Campus Plaza. Retail on college campuses is being seen as a trend. 5 Walmarts have opened on U.S. college campuses. So far, the Trader Joe's at San Diego State is the only Trader Joe's on a California campus, but there's one planned to open at USC in the fall. Tom Fudge, KPBS News.
To prevent the worst impacts of climate change, scientists warn we need to cut global carbon emissions by 70% by the mid-century. There are 2 basic ways to get there: replace fossil fuels with renewable energy or use a lot less energy. From PRI's The World, Jason Margolis says you can do that by making buildings smarter.
We're in Edinburgh, Scotland right now, and there's a Ferris wheel right behind me, as you can see, and it's obviously using a ton of electricity. What we don't know, though, is how efficiently that Ferris wheel is running. Are all the motors running efficiently? Are the lights running efficiently? If we could map that Ferris wheel and make it run more efficiently, the cost savings and the electricity savings could be huge. I don't know if these rides could actually save 20, 40, 50%. But what if buildings could? If factories, hotels, hospitals? Well, they can. We're going to go see one on the outskirts of Edinburgh.
As I pass through the countryside on my way to visit a high-tech factory, I'm reminded that this isn't a story about technology. It's a story about climate and the environment, because we need to cut global greenhouse gas emissions by perhaps 70% by mid-century. And the Jabil Corporation, a massive international company, is taking steps in that direction. This is one of their factories where they produce parts for a range of products. And it's massive, 125,000 square feet, 300 people working on the floor. To keep a factory this size running requires a ton of electricity. And because there's lots of equipment, it needs to stay cool inside. So what happens if, say, one of the AC compressors has a glitch and is wasting energy? How could we know? We probably wouldn't, until now. These clamps are the key. They monitor every electron and send it to a box that uploads information to the cloud to be monitored in real time. The latest version of this technology is called Einstein. It can detect any disruptions and provide detailed accounting, potentially saving companies like Jabil millions of dollars. The technology is the brainchild of a company called Verdigris, based out of the San Francisco Bay Area. Oh, and Jabil is not only a user of Verdigris products, they help manufacture it too. Heading back to Edinburgh, I wonder if this type of forward-thinking, cost-saving technology will take hold, or if we will just keep spinning our wheels.
It's Friday and time to check in at the movies. From must-see horror to a documentary about obituaries. But KPBS arts reporter Beth Accomando says the best films to see this weekend are the classics.
Fasten your seatbelts. It's going to be a bumpy night.
That's right, because Bette Davis and Joan Crawford are back on the big screen where they belong. If you enjoyed the FX series Feud and its portrait of the off-screen rivalry between Bette Davis and Joan Crawford, then you need to check out the on-screen work of these iconic actresses at the Balboa Theater this weekend. Davis is wicked fun as Margot Channing in All About Eve, and Crawford grabbed an Oscar as the long-suffering mom who sacrifices all for her bratty daughter in Mildred Pierce. But perhaps it's Whatever Happened to Baby Jane, the film that paired the two aging stars in a gothic thriller, that audiences will be most eager to see after Feud teased us with delicious behind-the-scenes tidbits about the lengths to which these women went to keep their careers going. There's also a new film worth checking out, Obit at the Ken Cinema. It's a documentary about the dedicated staff of obituary writers at the New York Times. The film reveals how these people whose job is to write about those who've just died are really in the business of celebrating amazing lives. But Paris can most definitely wait if you're talking about Eleanor Coppola's new film about a woman at a crossroads in her life. Paris Can Wait may have nice performances, lovely scenery, and food to die for, but it's also an unexceptional and completely forgettable film.
Good to see another brother around here.
I want to end with a must-see film that's coming out on demand and on Blu-ray.
Yes.
It's Jordan Peele's Get Out.
Of course it is.
It has the trappings of a horror film and uses genre tropes to suck us into a story about a young African-American man who visits the weird family estate of his Caucasian girlfriend.
Is it true?
The film is rich with layers of social meaning.
Is it better?
That make it worth seeing more than once.
Wow.
Peele's subtle and not so subtle social commentary is provocative. The film proves that horror can be a compelling and effective genre for dealing with serious issues like race and class.
Get out. Sorry, man. Get out! Yo!
For KPBS, this is your resident cinema junkie, Beth Accomando.
Check out Beth's Cinema Junkie podcast and blog for more on movies. There's a new addition at the San Diego Zoo. A southern white rhino gave birth to a calf late last month, and for the first time, we're getting a peek. These are the first images of Kiazi's calf. Kiazi came to the San Diego Zoo in 2008. She's been part of the breeding program ever since, but this was her first time conceiving. Recently, an increase in poaching has dramatically affected rhinos' populations in the wild. Well, many people ride horses or even watch them race, but for one woman, horses have a special purpose. AP reporter Michael Hill tells us how a horse named Panda is helping her experience life from a new perspective.
Find the curve, please. Atta girl.
Panda has been at Aunt Edie's side for 14 years. Edie is blind, and the miniature horse does the work of a guide dog.
the communication between Panda and myself when we're working is, I think, even closer than I was with my first guide dog.
Now, Edie is standing by Panda's side. After an intestinal blockage threatened Panda's life, Edie and her husband tapped into their retirement savings to pay medical bills that topped $30,000. An online campaign to help pay the costs raised $11,000. A year later, Panda is on the mend, and Edie has no regrets.
Good girl. Of course, I wanted to do everything I could to save her because she's very special and she's very important.
The 69-year-old retiree from upstate New York had already lost one beloved guide dog and didn't want to re-experience that trauma. She knew horses can live 30 years or more, so she turned to a friend to train Panda. Taking a chance, the horse had the intelligence and temperament for guide work.
I'm always impressed by her accuracy. I'm always impressed by her focus.
Guide horses remain rare. They eat more than dogs, need to go to the bathroom more, and they need space. Panda is still recovering, but she loves to play and can take long walks.
If she doesn't have another major colic event, I would, she can certainly live another 20 years or more.
Edie now providing the steady hand to guide Panda through difficult times. Michael Hill, Associated Press, Delmar, New York.
You can find tonight's stories on our website, kpbs.org/evening edition. Thanks for joining us. Have a great night.